Welcome to So Many Receipts. I'm Flo Michelle.
And I'm Shelley Seddon.
And we are two entertainment journos based in Sydney, Australia, who love to analyse and talk about all things reality TV and pop culture.
Each week on Receipt Roundup, we bring you our take on what's trending.
This week on the show, the ick with the oldies on Big Brother, the Golden Bachelor Sunny fallout, the bitchy fights at Bravocon, and reality religion is back with the secret lives of Mormon wives.
So 21 years after Big Brother first hit Aussie screens, it's back for another season. And shockingly, people are actually talking about it because over the past decade, so many of these seasons came and went with barely a mention from anyone. The hype is partly because there's a 24-hour live stream on TikTok, which made me laugh because Gen Zs were doing videos like, OMG, I've never seen anything like this before. Yes, kids, this kind of reality TV has been around longer than your TikTok account.
Yeah, because Gen X people like us remember so well. This is what the show actually was 20 years ago.
Yeah, right. It's like these youngsters are watching sort of someone discover chocolate for the first time. They're so amazed. I'm enjoying Big Brother this year, but it always gets more boring as it goes on because they keep the wallflowers in and boot the loudmouths out first. Some of them are more interesting than most of the others. I mean, I don't want to watch Abiola sleeping.
I know, exactly.
I think they should lock everyone in for weeks, let it go completely feral, and then do a mass eviction. And they're already offloading all the old fuddy-duddies who kind of are interesting. Well, I'm assuming Jane will get the chop this Sunday or soon after. So did you hear Michael was supposed to be on Married at First Sight this year?
Yes. So he was going to be an intruder hubby like Clint was.
Right, but Endemol, who produced MAFS and Big Brother, couldn't find a match for him because he only wanted someone, so predictable, between 25 to 45, even though he's 49, plus he wanted a trad wife. They must have run out of trad wife applicants at the store that day, so they shoved him in BB instead.
Yes, so maybe they should have given him Lauren, but I bet Jackie's so glad they didn't.
Yeah, so I find Jane, the groovy granny who never was, insufferable.
Okay, so my initial reaction when she erupted over everything was settle down, boomer. But I have to say, after watching and getting some context, I actually stand united with Jane/Karen.
Oh.
It is a shared space. I wouldn't want someone farting in the air that I have to breathe. Plus, I don't want to navigate around a bean bag with two people dry humping.
Yeah, okay, that was gross.
I just think it's all about respect. So Jane did try to get this message across, but unfortunately her delivery was freaking awful. And somehow she made it all about not respecting women.
But she's just so grumpy and intolerant. I mean, lighten up, Gran. She's also a huge fan of a certain US president. I want to see them all scream about that before they get rid of her.
Well, so I actually want to rename this show Bogans in a Box. But I have to say, Michael, who was the first person voted out, was actually the least boganic. He's a magazine publisher from Sydney's posh eastern suburbs.
But I wonder why Holly wasn't a bit nicer to him, considering he publishes the Lad Mags, FHM and Maxim, because surely she wants a cover after this.
So I think Holly's awful. And some of the other housemates, they see right through her. I loved how Michael nominated Holly as head of household to make everyone hate her even more. She's doing these caviar bumps.
Those insufferable caviar bumps on all those shows.
Yeah, because that's really relatable.
Yeah.
And so he was brought in to stir the pot, and he picked Holly because she would cause maximum chaos. So I do have to say, well done, sir.
But Colin having a breakdown over Holly in the Big Brother house, really?
I know. He's crying
Really,
to
Colin?
Big Brother. He wanted his mummy. And viewers have been worried that he's spiraling over her. And they wonder about the vetting process because he really does seem like his mental health is very fragile.
Right, but why is he acting like he's going through a divorce? They'd known each other for 1 week. I actually don't blame her for wanting a little faux-mances in the house. Why can't he just chill and have some cheeky fun and not take it so seriously?
Yeah, so because of his issues, I just think people are collectively worried because she's going to chew him up and spit him out.
Well, I definitely don't think they'll continue to go out because he's really not her type. He's not globally famous enough because she apparently dated the world's fastest man, Usain Bolt. She had a relationship with international DJ Carnage. She dated UK pro footballer Phil Jagielka and also dated loaded reality star Gavin Rubinstein. From Lux Listings Sydney. Colin needs a miracle to keep up.
Well, poor Colin. He's 21 years old. He is an aspiring MMA fighter from Wollongong. I think she loves high-profile men because she just wants to raise her own profile. She is just so self-absorbed. She talks nonstop about herself and has zero self-awareness. She never asks anyone else about themselves and talks over people. She's just interested in where the camera is and the limelight outside of the house. She couldn't even get Colin's name right.
She kept confusing it with that other guy, Connor, who actually hates her.
Yes. So we do have to discuss the Golden Bachelor. So the very first Golden Bachelor Australia is over, and we finally know who is poking the bear. And as I predicted, it was surprise dark horse Sunny. And they are still together after 7 months or until the contract ends. So I'm not sure why there wasn't a plan B for the finale scene. Given the forecast was cyclonic winds, I just felt like this wild weather, it totally detracted from this serious moment.
I thought that was kind of funny. I kind of thought it was hysterical that Sunny's hair was all over her face and in her mouth. Jeanette looked like she was going to faint.
Well, poor Jeanette, she was up first, and Bear's delivery was so flat and rehearsed. So when she knew it wasn't her, she could not get out of there fast enough. She was like,
taxi.
Yeah, she was like, yeah, no, bye. So I'm actually glad it wasn't Jeanette because we met her at the premiere and she has recovered from this heartbreak and is living her best life. She just signed with Roxy Jasinko's talent agency. So I do think there are a couple of things that clinched it for Sunny.
Okay, what's your breakdown?
Okay, so number one, she lives in Sydney. She's geographically desirable. So number two, she loves golf.
Yes.
And number three, she's horny. So this is any man's trifecta. How can you possibly compete with that? And some people also think she has money, but I didn't think that her house was that fancy.
And he is used to money. Maybe he's trying something new, like a regular person. Shockingly, though, it has emerged Sunny has been the victim of extremely racist comments online. The social media moderator for radio station Gold 101.7 went on Jonesy and Amanda and said she had removed 200 racist comments just from one post alone.
Wow.
I saw some of them and they were vile.
Oh, they were disgusting. I think it's really shocking that this is where we're at in 2025.
Yeah, and as my own mum is Asian, married to my dad who's an Aussie, this made me feel really sad for her. Her daughter Chloe did her own post about it and was in tears, and I know what that's like. It's so hurtful. So these comments had nothing to do with Sunny's personality. They were just appalling comments about her being an Asian woman, mainly on Facebook, the land of the middle-aged troll. Yes. But not only from men, from women as well. What is wrong with people?
Women are the worst. You know, I thought Sunny was lovely. She's a CEO. She's smart. She's successful.
So nice. And yeah, they were an unexpected match, but they found each other. I'm happy for them. And people were also saying that Jeanette should have won. He picked the wrong woman. Why? They weren't into each other. They really were not that into each other. Jeanette could barely say, I like you out loud without turning blue.
Yeah, well, I'm actually just shocked that they're doing a season 2 because I think this show has jumped the shark. I just feel this premise is too outdated and everyone kept wondering why 19 amazing women would vie for one mediocre man. And the whole exercise was cringy when we have dating shows like MAFS and Love Island, etc., where at least the women and men find love on a level playing field.
I hope you're not saying MAFS is more successful. Is that the yardstick? Is that how low it's now at?
I'm just saying that they come in as equals and it's not a bunch of women desperate for the attention of one man. And also, I think casting another Golden Bachelor will be a nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing when there's all these young people saying, pick me, mister. But when it's women who are in their 60s, desperate to be chosen, it is kind of ick, really. And there was a Daily Telegraph story that Bear initially applied and then withdrew after meeting someone else, right?
Yeah, so this is the third relationship that he's had. So yes, apparently Bear withdrew his application from the show because he met someone and they became serious. But a source said producers practically sprinted after Bear because the male pool was so spectacularly underwhelming. And the producers just actually convinced him to be on the show. So he dumped this chick that he was with to become the Golden Bachelor. So a spectacularly underwhelming pool of men. Honestly, that is the Sydney dating scene in a nutshell. So they have to go to another city for the second part. They already have one candidate from the Gold Coast for next year, a sports commentator named Craig Trinder, not Tinder.
The Trinder swindler?
Yes, the Trinder, yes, the Trinder swindler. Oh my God, we've already writing the headlines.
It was sort of implying that he was the guy that was the first pick.
Yes.
Do we think that he's coming back then?
I think that he pulled out, the first pick pulled out, and maybe he's seen what, the results are, and he's like, all right, put my hand back up.
I want a slice of the PR.
Yeah.
And FYI, I did say weeks ago that I didn't think any of the women were young enough for Bear because he had always dated younger women, and I thought, if he picks someone and it goes bust, he might just go back to a younger woman afterwards. So if he goes on forever and ever with Sunny, I will apologize in advance and eat my own words, or maybe I'll just eat a tub of ice cream. But I will be interested to see how long this lasts because the Bachelor shows, they don't have the greatest track records for relationships, do they?
Yeah, well, you might be right about the younger woman because there are already rumors that he cheated on Sunny with someone at the Logies in August.
What?
So on Rosie Waterland's
At
podcast,
the Logies?
yes, Just the Gist,
God.
there was some hot tea that he made out with a woman in her late 40s.
Okay, so younger woman. Oh my
Yes.
God, I get to,
It's
I get to eat
happening.
ice cream after all. Oh, that's gross.
I
At the
know.
Logies? Oh,
Fair.
Anyway.
Moving on to Bravocon 2025. Bravo, effing bravo. You can now watch some of the panel sessions on Hayu, and I had major FOMO. And now it's even worse because Bravocon is only held every 2 years, so we won't have this party again until 2027.
Yeah, because we thought maybe it was going to start becoming an annual event because it is getting so big. And we were planning to go next year if they change their minds, but we now have to wait 2 years. I might not have any brain cells by then anyway.
Well, the biggest announcement was...
You might have to narrate it to me next to me.
The biggest announcement was that Vicki Gunvalson got her orange back for season 20 on The Real Housewives of Orange County. So she will become a full-time cast member once more.
I have replayed that moment where Andy surprised her with the orange on stage so many times. I had tears in my eyes.
It was
because
sweet.
Because she's been so desperate to be back on the show for years now. But I do hope she brings it because the reason they got rid of her years ago was because she was getting really boring and non-combative.
Well,
that's not a good housewife strategy.
Exactly. Well, speaking of housewife fights, there were two good ones. First up, Adriana from Miami versus Giselle from Potomac.
Oh, yeah.
And they did this squash the beef segment on stage, but nothing was squashed. Adriana called Giselle the rudest housewife she's ever met on Watch What Happens Live. And because it was all at Bravocon in 2022, it was all about they got
Getting
into the
into a
shared car.
shared
Yeah, getting
car.
into a shared car. And Adriana got in first and sat in the front. Giselle had to sit in the back, and she was pissed about that.
I mean, that is the most petty fight ever. Who gets into a car first? But I'm here for it. And on stage, I loved how Giselle said, "Who is this woman? Isn't she just a friend of the show?" Ouch. That is iconic.
Yeah.
That is in the quote book forever. Then we had Madison from Southern Charm and Sigh, which some people spell that S-I-G-H.
That's great. I love that.
They were beefing, aside from Roni. Madison called Sai the meanest girl I've ever met on one of the panels, and they've been serving it back and forth. I agree. Sai is awful. She's my least favourite housewife, actually, and she's very unpopular with fans.
Well,
no one likes poor old Sai.
I know. I've always thought that Sai was a mean girl. And so speaking of Roni, our casting dreams aren't coming true. It's not going to be a mix of OGs, rebooters, and newbies. But apparently Aaron, Jessel, and Sai are still in the mix. And they do have a new cast locked in and will start filming soon.
I think it's money. I think Luann and all the old crew are too expensive.
Well, in more Real Housewives goss, Andy did sit down to interview Karen Huger from Potomac in the dead of the night after she was released from jail. And we'll see it on the season finale in February. And Karen presented an award at the Bravos, and the audience went crazy.
Which I thought was kind of funny because why are we giving a lady with 4 DUIs a standing ovation?
Yes, I don't understand the Karen Huger love. It's been, it doesn't matter. Prison sentences, fraud charges. Bravo fans do not care. And also potential felon Wendy Osefo was on the Potomac panel, and she also received an initial huge round of applause.
Yes, but I did watch that one, and she said she was saying things like, "Oh, I'm waiting to tell my side of the story. You'll get to find out. It's been a long journey." But every time she said anything, no one cheered. It was completely silent. You could have heard a pin drop. It was kind of uncomfortable. I think people are cautiously supportive because it really doesn't look good for that story. And WTF, Mia Thornton, ex-Potomac housewife, was also just arrested.
Crazy.
Allegedly, she took furniture and a TV worth $11,000 when she moved out of a furnished condo, furnished condo without notice in the middle of the night. She just took all this stuff with her.
As you do.
I think housewives officially now have FOMO if they don't have a criminal record and a mugshot. I think this is the reason they're all doing it. They're jealous. They want the PR.
I know. Well, we were talking about Beverly Hills as well, and Rachel Zoe has joined the chat, and the cheering at the panel for Beverly Hills had her in tears. And meanwhile, Erica was booed after saying she didn't want Garcelle back, and rightly so. And of course, while the ladies were away in Vegas, Kathy Hilton and Sutton's houses got robbed in Bel Air.
We've been talking about this for the last few weeks. Why are these mansions so easy to break into?
Like, they have staff. Kathy Hilton has a team, a staff. It's not like the houses are empty.
Let's get a home security expert
Yes.
on this podcast to explain it. I don't get it. Also, new additions, we've got the US Traders Season 4 premiering January 8 with Lisa Rinna, Portia, Caroline Stanbury, Dorinda, Candace from Potomac. Oh my God, I'm going to faint. Plus, on the Valley, Lala Kent and Tom Schwartz will officially join as full-time cast members because they had to go somewhere, right?
Yeah, well, at least we won't see Tom awkwardly dropping by Summer House anymore.
Yes.
And rumors were also rampant that Kyle and Amanda are living apart. So Kyle denied the rumors, but the only appearance they made together was at the Summer House panel. And Carl also went out on a date with Vanita from Southern Charm, and apparently that went well. Couple crossover alert.
Okay. And there was also this thing called the Bravo Bazaar, where the Bravo celebrities sell their merch. I was watching this online, but I mean, the merch is kind of lacking this year.
Apparently. But so I did see Craig's Sewing Down South was there. Obviously,
he'll sell pillows and cushions whenever he
those
can.
Those middle-aged women,
I would buy one.
They love their throw pillows.
Actually, I'm going to order one.
Yes.
Does he ship overseas?
Yeah,
I don't
exactly. And also, of course, Loverboy was there. Kyle's canned cocktails and spritzes.
I'm so sick of promoting those cans on Summer House.
Exactly.
It's like he treats it like one big ad.
Yes.
The whole show.
It's an infomercial. So you could also buy a Brooks Marks tracksuit, a Meredith Marks bath bomb, and Angie K was selling high body count hair merch and sunglasses. And apparently there were huge lines at Angie K's booth. I actually think Dorit should have sold T-shirts with her iconic smoking pic. And I have to say, Dorit lighting up a revenge cigarette on stage, that was one of my favorite moments from the Bravo Awards.
Oh, yes, so good. This next segment is brought to you by The Mushroom Murders by Greg Hedrick.
So this new book about the infamous Aaron Patterson case is a great read, full of insights that may surprise you.
We recently spoke to Greg as part of our deep dive true crime series, and it was a fascinating chat, particularly when we asked Greg whether there was ever a chance that Aaron may just be innocent.
Check out our pod now. The Mushroom Murders by Greg Hedrick is out through Allen and Unwin.
So Rose and Thorn time, and my favourite young messy Mormons are back for season 3 of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. It's a rose for me because, look, this bunch of TikTokers are strangely compelling, although I don't really know why influencers are so interesting. It's just people doing product placements, but here I am watching their TikToks and taking notes like it's a frickin' Oscars. And after this, we also are going to be talking about Heather Gay's new doco series, Surviving Mormonism, and sprinkling in some Salt Lake as well. This is truly a bumper Mormon edition of the pod this week.
Well, I call this show Mormon's Light after the ordeal of watching Surviving Mormonism. So I'm American. I grew up alongside some Mormon friends, but I still don't understand how it works. So these Mormons are soft swinging, drinking dirty soda, having slutty themed birthday parties. Does Jesus know?
I don't think Jesus knows.
Jesus doesn't know.
Actually, I feel sorry for him because this show is kind of gross at times. We see Jessie describing her affair with Marciano Brunette.
That is not his name.
He is a brunette. Saying it was basically just 2 kisses with him, nothing else. So this guy was a waiter on Vanderpump Villa last season. So you didn't watch this, but like the Secret Lives, they did a crossover episode, 2 episodes with this show. This guy, Marciano, flirted really heavily with Demi, even though she is married, and then he said they had an affair afterwards, which she then denied. Now Jessie, who looks exactly like Demi, is admitting she had an affair with him.
Well, I thought these girls were the same person. It's very hard to tell these Pantene models apart. I am mesmerized by their long, luscious Rapunzel-like hair. And I'm like, surely they all must have hair extensions. And I want to know, why aren't they doing hair talk?
It's like a replacement for the old weird updos of Mormons. It's now the Victoria's Secret downdos of Mormons. Anyway, this Marciano guy is just Mr. Average in looks. Wah, wah. And he is so desperate to be on TV, he'll even fool around with married Mormons. How sad is that? So there is this yuck phone call Jessie and Layla make to him in the car where he claims on the call that something sexual did happen
Right.
between him and Jesse, saying he passed out after they were together, and when he woke up there were certain bodily fluid stains on his shorts. So to him it looked like something did happen, and then Jesse theorizes that perhaps it was just, merely pre-ejaculate. Ew, this conversation.
It's like Bill Clinton in the blue dress
Jesse.
all over again. So he said he was doing Cialis, which is a type of Viagra. These are people in their 20s. They're just recreationally taking Viagra. And the other Mom Talk girls were talking about doing ketamine. So 2 of the girls from Mom Talk have had to check into mental health facilities for a break. Like, how religious are these people?
I don't know. Do they pray?
Yes.
I don't know. Meanwhile, at Layla's birthday dinner, the women sense somebody is leaking private details to Demi. Suspicions fall on Layla and Miranda. So Demi is the villain of the group, and I'm sad she's not back. She's good TV. She makes a cameo at some point during the season, but apparently she quit the show over money, saying she was so central she just deserved more.
Well, I don't know how these women have time to film when they all keep getting pregnant. I thought the cast of The Valley were breeders. That's child's play, pun intended, next to this crew. 2 of them are pregnant. Wait, I think maybe actually 3 of them are pregnant. I'm not entirely sure, but stop breeding. Meanwhile, Whitney doesn't appear until halfway through as she was filming U.S. Dancing with the Stars, and she just got eliminated in the semifinals.
She is a great dancer.
Yeah.
She was always the best dancer in Mom Talk. Have you also seen the clips of Robin Irwin from
He's
Dancing?
amazing. Love him.
They say he's going to win. He is incredible. I love that he is just so talented and nice. He's like Australia's son. I interviewed Steve Irwin once on the phone, and he was just like, mate. He was just full of crazy energy in life. It's so sad Robert never got to grow up with his dad, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh.
Like, we love Robert, and he's totally going to win Dancing with the Stars,
Yes.
just like Bindi.
Yes.
So I have to talk about the surviving Mormonism thing. That was me last weekend. I was surviving Mormonism after I watched
It was heavy.
4 hours. So this 3-part document on Hayu, and then I had to watch the season 3 premiere of The Secret Life of Mormon Wives. Lordy. And I mean that literally. Lordy. So Heather Gay, the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City star and author of Bad Mormon, she takes us on a journey through the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and it is freaking dark. Heather is to Mormons what Leah Remini is to Scientology. So I'm giving it a rose because I do think Heather is really brave to be taking on an entire religion and exposing all the bad bits.
It was brave, and I applaud Heather too, but it was a grueling watch.
Yeah.
These stories were heavy.
I was actually surprised at how heavy the whole thing was. And so like Scientology, the Mormon church is super wealthy. They are worth $140 billion, very powerful. And there's no doubt that Mormons are obviously having a moment and going mainstream with all these reality shows.
Because it has been interesting to see them talk a little bit about their culture and their traditions. I had no idea they weren't supposed to drink coffee and just drink sodas all day long.
Yeah. Well, so Heather accuses the church of being homophobic, misogynistic, and bigoted. And since she very publicly left the church and wrote her book, Bad Mormon, lots of other people who've left the church or had traumatic experiences have contacted her. It's a lot for one person to take on. And the first part of the doco features her meeting with this guy who is the main person leading conversion therapy for members of the church. This consisted of trying to heal the gay out of men who were attracted to other men. And it turns out the guy leading it has left the church and come out as gay himself.
And she did say a few times in the doco, I'm just on this silly reality TV
Yeah,
show.
who am I?
Why am I waving the flag, against this entire religion? The second episode deals with the sexual abuse that seems to be kind of widespread throughout the church. She had those spreadsheets, or she was looking at those stats online.
Yeah.
I mean, Heather interviews the partner of her best friend Shane, and that is harrowing.
Yeah.
There is a lot of trauma, a lot of illegal activities that aren't reported, and it's a lot to process. The last episode is similar with 2 sisters who were abused by their father, and the church didn't do anything.
Yeah. Well, this whole thing, it did make me go back and review who in the Real Housewives cast is actually Mormon. So Heather,
Good point.
Heather, Whitney, and Bronwyn have all left the church. Mary has her own church. Angie's Greek Orthodox, and Meredith is Jewish. So that leaves Lisa and Brittany. So I just don't understand how it works. So you're not supposed to swear, drink caffeinated soda, drink alcohol, watch R-rated movies. You have to dress modestly. So Lisa has a tequila brand who she donates to Satan. She's
the Church of Satan.
Yes. She drinks Diet Coke. She swears. Like, make it make sense. How does this work?
Yeah, they're kind of loose with some of these rules, right? I also read Heather said that Lisa was the only one of her Mormon friends who reached out and congratulated her for the series, which was good of Lisa.
I'm surprised Whitney didn't. Yeah.
The others all, she said everyone else all stayed silent because I was wondering what Lisa was going to make of it, because her son Jack just did a Mormon mission and she is still part of the church. It was nice that Lisa was able to basically say, I'm guessing, well done, Heather, you do you, or, congrats, whatever she said.
Yeah, exactly. So if you want to learn more about the real Secret Lives of Mormons, then watch this doc, but just know that it's dark and hard. It's a hard watch at sometimes, but Heather really does do a good job.
Yeah, and there was no flowing hair or anything in this one. No. That's only in the Secret Lives. So we keep flip-flopping on the Real Housewives of Orange County with our roses and thorns. We gave it a rose last week for the fashions, but this week it gets a thorn for this whole Katie Janella situation that was hashed out more in part 2.
Yes, so they brought out the husbands.
The husbands.
Oh, wait, make that the husband, because the only one who showed up was Matt Janella. So poor, naive Matt was the only partner who had balls enough to show up and support his wife. I do think that Matt actually deserves a rose.
And listening to her download this show to him every night, I'm guessing she always was telling him everything. And anything to do with Katie's storyline has been so confusing to the point that I can't even attempt to summarize anything because it would literally take 7 hours.
Yeah. So unfortunately, having Matt appear didn't clear anything up. Everyone talked over each other, as per usual.
See, this is why this season hasn't really worked. Because for viewers, anytime you need a whiteboard on Real Housewives to keep track, it's not good TV. We want to relax. We don't want to concentrate. Yeah. Look, Katie, I think sometimes she was right and other times she was wrong. Sometimes the other ladies were right and then they were wrong, and then it all got mixed up. So, and telephone, game of telephone.
I think Katie actually believed what she was saying was the truth. I don't think she deliberately made things up, although she kept flip-flopping. I just think maybe she misspoke at times. That's Gretchen's excuse for why her story kept changing.
Yeah, so we're talking about, did she go to bloggers outside of the show and spread dirt about the ladies or not? And then there was other stuff. Oh, so confusing. And I want to talk about something else. There were actually microaggressions with Asian housewives on every show, like Katie this season. We have seen this with Crystal on Beverly Hills, Jenny on Salt Lake, and Tiffany Moon on Dallas. With Katie, there was that weird karate dance Jen and Gretchen did on social media, which was awful. But I don't think the OC cast were truly racist.
No, me neither. I just think they laid into Katie because she was the one stirring stuff up all the time. And had she been Caucasian, they would have still had the same reaction. It's just like the Salt Lake girls are grilling Lisa Barlow right now for the exact same thing. Yeah,
so I feel the real thorn here is that Bravo keep miscasting newbies and throwing them to the wolves. They should be casting for personality. If you are quiet and kind of reserved, it's not going to work, whoever you are. Those personalities don't do well on these shows. You need to be either an extrovert or an oddball. Look at Salt Lake. That is the entire cast. Yeah. I remember Dr. Jen Armstrong was on OC for a season or two. She's a white blonde woman, but because she was quiet, she didn't fit in either, and they got rid of her.
I actually love Dr. Jen, and I watch her celebrity plastic surgery reels all the time. I wish they would bring her back.
No, they'll just pick on her. Stay away, Jen. Also, they should be casting people with ready-made storylines. I've said this before. Do a deep dive into all their issues. If you don't have any problems, sorry, you don't fit in here. I feel newbies are under so much pressure to create something that someone like Katie, who doesn't have a lot of personal issues, just gets in over her head. I personally don't want to see another Asian woman feeling uncomfortable, not fitting in for whatever reason. It is too painful. So I really hope Katie doesn't come back, because now Jen's fallen out with her. It will be 7 against 1.
Yeah. Well, so far they've brought back Jesus Jugs and Gretchers, and I don't think it really worked. I don't want to watch another season about 20-year-old beef, particularly now that Vicky's coming back. They just need to do something drastic for season 20.
Yeah, be interesting when Vicky's back.
So finally, my second rose is for the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I'm handing it out just for sheer consistency, but also for the ladies being brave enough to discuss their very personal marital problems on camera.
Oof. I don't know if that's a good idea. How embarrassing for the husbands.
Yes, there are some serious marriage counseling sessions happening between Bronwyn and Todd and Lisa and John. I can't believe either couple allowed their conversations to be filmed.
I know, I couldn't believe what I was watching for some of it.
Especially when Lisa's so private, but lucky for us, we get to listen in. And as we know, the Bravoverse will take down even the strongest marriage. Rest in peace, Kyle and Mauricio.
Also, the ladies and the viewers are still recovering from the turbulence Meredith caused on the flight home from Canyon. They rally around Brittany. They hold this potluck dinner for her. It's surprising to actually see how much the ladies love Brittany, apart from Lisa and Meredith. But I do like their villain double act. I hope they stick together from now, like two evil twins.
Well, they're probably relieved they weren't invited to this dinner because all of the ladies received a glow down. So that's the opposite of a glow up, right?
Yep.
So they all tease and spray their hair with Aquanet to create high body count hair. And they surprise Brittany. And I think Angie needs a line of hair products or a chain of salons called HBCH, high body count hair.
Business idea.
She already has the merch and it's going off. So anyway, I think it's lovely that the women, except Meredith and Lisa, have Brittany's back. And meanwhile, Mary's church renovations are complete and all of the women gather for her first sermon in 2 years. Unfortunately, Robert Jr. doesn't make it to support his mom because when he got in the car, Mary could tell he was high and she left him at home.
I am terrified for Mary every time he is on camera. This is her only child. And also, I heard while she was at Bravocon, he was arrested again, like last week, this week.
Last weekend.
Yeah, at his ex-wife's house where he allegedly bit a police officer and smashed up his mother-in-law's car. Rehab obviously doesn't work. What does she do now with this boy?
I think this is like the third time. He's like beaten up his ex-wife and her father like twice.
Yeah.
So like, oh my God. So I really think she's been courageous about his journey. She says some days are good, some days are bad. But, I think Mary's entertaining, but I don't love her like some Bravo fans. I just think it's weird. And I do wonder what's going to come out in the new doco regarding her church. And I don't think it's going to be good.
And I don't think that's going to be good for Robert's mental health either, because it's going to be exposing his family, basically.
Yeah.
He's already on the edge.
Yeah. And so Mary was one of the most popular housewives at Bravocon. People love her, but now, I feel like, the reckoning is coming with this doco.
I know it's like the tall poppy syndrome in America. Do they have that in America a little bit?
But we'll tear you down, but then we'll build you back up.
Yeah. So she'll go down, then she'll go up again.
Yes.
Okay. Mary was in my favorite reel from Bravocon. These podcasters said to her, "So Mary, who have you met at Bravocon?" And she said, "Oh, I really don't know many of them at all. I wasn't even going to come." And then she said, "I was just on a panel with Tom Scorts. I don't know who I don't know who that is." And they said, "Tom Schwartz or Sandoval?" And she goes, "Sandoval? I don't know who that is either."
Oh, Mary.
Classic. She didn't know the
Classic Mary.
Toms.
Exactly.
It was just, I loved
exactly.
it. Living for it.
So I do also love on the show how they all gave Bronwyn a stuffed animal with a recording, but Mary's recording was just static silence, and she didn't have anything nice to say about Brittany. It was classic.
Yeah, so funny. So that is it for this week. Thanks for listening. I'm Fleur Michelle.
And I'm Shelley Seddon.
Join us next week for So Many Receipts.